Welcome back, PEZ collectors. John Devlin is back with me today.
Happy to be here again.
Yeah, great. It's nice to have you.
Oh, boy.
And he brought over 2 more PEZ Pal Firemen in their box, so hopefully you're finding this a lot of fun like we are. It's
I like to gamble, yes.
Yeah.
So
it's like opening the blind boxes.
It really is.
A little bit more expensive than going to Target
True.
And paying like $8 for one.
And so if you watch the other videos where we open these before, the firemen in the vending box, it seems like all of them in the vending box all came from Hong Kong. So the odds are, in my past, 1 out of 10 would be marbleized. The other 9 would be plain, would be missing a helmet, a badge, a mustache. The last video we did, I opened one here and it was marbleized. I was thrilled, so I didn't open the other one. And before I got here again, I went ahead and opened the other one. And that one was not marbleized and it did not have a mustache.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer. But again, you know, you win some, you lose some. And you knew that when you bought it, that could happen. So
yeah, they're not always marbleized.
Right. And I did bring the one here with us. So this is actually the one that I lost. In other words, so it is not marbleized. It is a Hong Kong stem. And you'll see later that Hong Kong Fireman, the helmet is actually a darker red. Some people say it's more pliable. To me, it felt the same, but it's darker. And we show a comparison later, you'll see the difference there.
That's a good thing to point out, because when you're shopping online for PEZ, and people don't put like what country of origin that they come from, and you see the darker hat, it's worth the
it's worth taking a chance. And then also a lot of times you're going to be wanting the badge to be, there's many shades of badge. There's a silver, there's almost an opaque one, there's just a lighter tan similar to this color. Can you see the difference in the badging? Yeah, okay, I got off track there. We'll get back.
Yeah, we'll go more into detail on all these Fireman PEZ Pals, because John brought over a whole bunch of them. I only have 3, and he's got
I didn't bring all of them. I didn't bring any of my marbleized ones. Again, I don't like to move those around as much because marbleized stems are very fragile. So if I would have took time and packed them up real nice, but I'm lazy, so I just threw this together to bring it over.
Yeah, no. This will give you a really good idea of what you can look for Fireman PEZ.
Yes.
That's our whole goal here.
And then if you buy these and they're still in the box, try to buy them from people that you trust, because some people may have opened their box up themselves and tried to seal it, and then sell it to you. And that's not nice.
Yeah, that's not good.
Also, I'm no longer saying where they came from, other than they're somebody I trust. Just in case they're all losers or all winners, I don't want everyone to know what my source is, because then I won't be getting any more. But, I mean, we are giving you the information here so anybody can do this yourself. And these are packed really well inside there.
Sure hope you get some more marbleized.
That would be great.
Or something really cool.
Yeah.
You never know. You take that?
Okay, for the benefit of people who haven't watched other videos of this, so this is the vending box, which goes in the big vending machines that they have for these. And originally you would put a quarter in the machine, turn it, and one of these would drop out. Again, so if you're opening these, you try not to open the side that says Fireman PEZ. You try to open the side that has ingredients. Because when you're displaying these, if you have a whole bunch of different ones, maybe firemen, policemen, whatever, you like to stack them and they look nicer that way, unopened on that side.
And I think the first video I shot with you, he shows his vending machine that these would fit in. So if you want to check out that video, I'll link it down below here in the description. It's a really nice vending machine. It's really cool. I don't have any vending machines.
Yet.
Someday, maybe.
So how these are glued, and I could tell when I was doing this, I was pulling away the first time on that. There are people that have told me they went to open it and they could tell something had been re-glued, and when they opened it, it didn't have what you would think. It was either missing a mustache or had one pack of candy instead of two, but definitely was not marbleized. So what's your guess? It's going to be yellow or red?
I want a red stem. I don't know.
I'm hoping it's yellow this time.
A yellow stem? Maybe because I keep seeing yellow ones come out of these.
I'm hoping it's marbleized.
I hope it's marbleized.
It feels like it has the candy in it. It feels heavy.
I hope it has the mustache too.
Yeah, the mustache.
I can't believe the last one you opened didn't have a mustache.
Or it wasn't marbleized. Okay, head first.
Oh,
Oh, it's red.
Oh.
And it is not marbleized.
It's not?
Nope.
Is it?
Let me get your... Yeah, it's got a little bit.
It looks a little marbleized.
Oh, as a matter of fact, wow. Like the fourth, this is strange the way this one's done.
Wait, it's missing the badge.
Oh, and there we go. And as we just said, you could be missing the badge, and this baby does.
I wonder if it's in the box.
But I'll look inside. I do feel, I can hear the candy. Let's open it up. Take a look.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, okay. Whew.
So badge does exist with it. Cool.
Just fell off.
And two multi-flavor.
Hopefully it didn't break off.
No, it
Looks like it has the pin.
Yeah. Actually, so I'm not going to put that on right now. I'll attempt that when I'm at home. But so the badge is there.
That's good. I got a little nervous because those badges are hard to find.
So it looks like on the center part of the forehead is more marbleized than the rest. It has a little bit in the rest, but nothing like that spot.
It definitely...
And certainly nothing like the other ones that we've seen that were very, very marble. Either way, I'm very happy with that. It'll definitely go in my collection. So it was worth the money. And again, these have always seemed to be under $200.
Look at this, like fresh out of the box, and it has the little marked, what do you call it on there?
The spur, the sprue, or whatever piece of the sprue.
Looks pretty good though.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
It definitely has a marble face, because like this is a non-marble one I just grabbed, and you can really tell, like it just looks flat, like there's no depth to it. But when you look at the ones with the marbling, it definitely has marbling.
Yeah. Also, as you can see, it's not really centered very well. It's like cattywampus on there.
Oh, the hat?
But I'll do that when I get home. I don't want to mess with it yet.
Maybe that's the reason this fell off, or
maybe got jostled in there. I don't know.
Well, that was fun. Wait, what kind of did you?
They were
multi-flavored.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's nice to get others than multi. Multi's fine. I'm always happy that both the candy packs are there.
So what other candy flavors have you gotten in these? We got grape.
Yes.
And the other?
Mine's been grape.
Just grape and multi-flavor.
But some people get 2 grapes. So. Nice. Okay, so this one, luckily I don't care so much about the box. But if you look at this one, the box is kind of water damaged. So you can see that?
Uh-oh.
The staining.
Yeah, that's not good.
Kind of dented in there. Stain. You can see the stain on this side of it.
There you go. That's focused. Yeah, because you bought these from the same person, but that person might have got these from 2 different collections, or you don't know exactly where you got them.
But I bought it from someone I trust enough that I know they didn't pre-open them.
Yeah. Okay, this one's going to be a yellow stem because we got a red stem.
Yeah, we do. So I was always going for yellow. I'm saying yellow again, hoping. My one that was missing the mustache, though, that I opened before I got here. Mm-hmm. That one was a red stem also.
Oh, yeah.
And it was not marbleized.
I like the yellow stem, but I think I like the red. I like the all red.
And again, it seems like if they haven't been re-glued, it's just 2 spots. And when you're pulling away, you can see that you're pulling the fibers. I'm only mentioning this more now because in the future I can see people trying, somebody unscrupulous? No, how would you say? Some no good nicks will do that. Okay, so I'm hoping for yellow.
I think yellow.
Okay. Marbleized.
We got red, so I think yellow.
2 packs of candy.
Yeah, same. With
this
the mustache.
This time not multi, maybe something else.
Grape candy.
Hoping for, ooh, don't even want to come out.
Oh, no,
red.
it's a red.
Multis
multi.
again. All parts are there. And
it looks... Is it? I think it is. Because it has like a different
it's
look
definitely
to
a different look than the other, yes.
Like they're like...
Here's a way to tell. Yep.
Like it's in the wrong hole, I think.
So when we compare the truly marbleized one, night and day difference.
Is it so this one's not marble or it is?
Well, compared to here, this is very marble. That one I don't see it.
Yeah, this one doesn't seem marble.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So it looks like I'm 1 for 4 out of mine.
It's still... Is that just like a mold? Like right here on the forehead? Is that just from the mold? And it has that same head color, which is kind of... Like this one has... Like it's just like flat. Like it just doesn't look marbled at all.
Well, that's definitely correct. That's not...
But then like when you look at this one, it's like the same head color almost.
The one you got in your hand might not even be Hong Kong.
Oh.
It's Austria.
Oh yeah, it's Austria.
So Austria, the whole head is a different color. Again, if you're looking for these and you're looking for marbleized, you're going to be looking mainly at Hong Kong. Officially, that was what they came on, Hong Kong.
So this is the one you got in the box. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it looks more like that.
Yes. And then if you're lucky,
even the eyes.
This wasn't in the box or anything, so now I'm pulling out another one out of that I brought with me. So I like the yellow stem better than the red, although in my collection I have more red than yellow. So far there doesn't seem to be much of a price difference. I feel it's harder to find yellow than red, so for whatever that's worth. But also when I'm looking at the stem, this particular one I got years ago and I don't even think I marked. I actually got this back in 1993. I paid a whole $30 for it and I bought it. I didn't care about this at all, just the stem. It had swirling in the stem.
Oh yeah.
And that swirling is actually, at first I thought, is that a marker or something? So we pulled it out, and in those days, people didn't have this kind of a light. We would have, it was like a AAA battery light that had a little flexi line and a light on the end. We'd shove that up back in here, and then we'd look down here and look in it, and then shove the light in and see. And that's how we knew that was truly. Now, I did that after I was in my room with some friends and did that. This was at a convention, but I paid their asking price, which was $30. And it's hard to believe, but there was a time where these you could buy for $20 or $30 at one point, and then that changed. So, firemen and policemen for a while were very plentiful. And I think in the world of PEZ Pals, they are the most produced of all of them. In other words, they're made in every part of the world. If you can get a PEZ Pal somewhere, they have those two also.
They're probably maybe for kids. Maybe they're some of the
that or they're heroes
heroes.
First respond, whatever you want to say. Another desirable thing on these is people want a USA stem. So way back before USA stem was a popular thing like it is now, I wanted one yellow and one red. So these two here, okay, USA, and I thought these were the right ones simply because, see the Hong Kong one, notice the helmet is a dark red. The USA ones are not, they're much lighter. Also the badging on the Hong Kong is more of a silvery, where the USA ones seem to be gray.
Oh yeah.
And again, this is just a generalization. You can find some that are different. Now somebody wrote a book on these, Jeff Rosenberg, and it's very handy to have. especially if you collect PEZ Pals, you really need it. But anyway, that gives you an idea. I don't agree with everything in there, but I definitely use that as a tool. It's helped me personally a lot on things I didn't know about PEZ, especially PEZ Pals. And over the years, more people are telling us more and more things that they didn't in the past. And recently, Brian Trauman just did a video. I learned this one about PEZ Pals, but about Brazil dispensers that had paper eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that that existed on Pluto, but I never knew that a fat-haired bunny could have that. So I learned something just this week. So, and I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. It's always good, like, people really specialize, or they really like, you know, specific dispensers, and they go all out on these. And like Jeff really likes PEZ Pals, so he wrote the book.
Yes.
And he likes USA Stems.
And anybody, if you're at a convention and the person has time, you could talk to John Laspina, Joe Paravati, Jeff Rosenberg, myself, definitely David Welch if he's not busy. These people will tell you what if you ask a specific question. Remember, it's a convention. They've got a lot on their mind. They're not going to be able to spend much time with you, but at least that'll give you an idea. So if they don't have time, just understand that it's very busy time. They've got a lot on their mind trying to set up and get everything else going. And there's so much behind the scenes that if you're a person that's just going to a convention, you don't know what it takes to get ready to do this. There's a lot involved in it. But I definitely tell everybody it's definitely worth going. If you collect PEZ at all and you enjoy it, you'll enjoy it so much more when you go to a convention. If you buy something from someone's room, you'll have a story behind that dispenser that means something to you. Some of these things, some of my best dispensers are the cheapest, but they were from people that I really liked from way, way back, and you know, it was just the camaraderie you get from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then seeing the people after year. Erin came to St. Louis way back when she was just a little kid. No, she was very, very young at the time.
Pretty young.
Yes. And your sister.
Yeah.
I think later Greg, or did Greg come right away?
Yeah. Once I met Greg in the early 2000s, he used to come all the time. Yeah, my parents used to come.
Right.
And then eventually.
And your father's a big collector.
Oh, yeah.
So, did he get you started, or?
He just. I guess he started because we used to always go to the conventions and stuff with us.
He's got an impressive collection himself.
Yeah.
Especially the pop PEZ.
Wow. He likes, he, just like everybody, like everyone has like specific ones they like. He likes pop PEZ and Yappy Dogs and the Japanese minis. He's like obsessed with those.
Yes. And then in the PEZ world, for me, at one time it was all just plastic, and then Marianne Kennedy, this is very early days, introduced me into paper items and explaining they were 10 to 100 times more rare than the dispensers. So I got into paper, and I kind of backed away from dispensers, and as time went on, I got most of the paper I ever wanted. And although I'll never have all the candy boxes that I would like to get, but I now know I can look for dispensers again. And also the boxes, full boxes, they're more maintenance, so if they're full of candy, you've got to have the humidity better for them and stuff. So there's a little bit more maintenance on that. And as I get older, I'm lazier and want to do other things. So that part of me is kind of dying away as far as full, huge boxes of candy, but I still buy them. So, that being said, I try not to buy like $1,000 box of candy anymore. If they're in a couple $100 or less, okay. But even that, or if it's brand new and I just simply like it, I'll buy it because they're never that much.
Yeah.
So, let me went way away from the firemen, but we have more firemen here.
Yeah.
And let me see what we got. These are probably Austria, and this is Austria, and this I'm sure is going to be Austria. It is. This next one has a blue stem, and I know people are going to say it never came on a blue stem. I did not. I got this from someone who I trusted, who was a big-time collector, and she said that's how she got it, and she did not buy it from an individual. It was somebody who worked for the company. This one also says Austria on it. No, I take that back. This says Hong Kong.
Oh.
Hong Kong. It is not marbleized, but when you look at this one compared to my other Hong Kong ones, this has a very, very light badge.
Yeah, is this one Hong Kong?
Yes. So
yeah, I was
see the other ones, all the
and the
ones
hat.
I've got now have the dark red helmet and that badge. This one does not. So, but again, the person I bought this from, I totally trust. She's not with us anymore, so can't ask her. So,
Here, hold it up here.
yes.
Yeah, see, yeah, the badges, that and the hat colors. So you're gonna get some variations, I guess, even if it's a Hong Kong.
And this doesn't do it justice. In person, you can tell just at a glance they're hugely different. Like where Erin's sitting, she can look there and say, okay, these could be Hong Kong, these are not, because these have the darker red helmet compared to the other two.
So these are both Hong Kong.
That'd be my
No,
guess.
that one's Austria.
Wait, but you have a very rare one. They own a DBP one.
Oh yeah, the DBP one.
That's much harder to get. I like the DBP, but I would still prefer marbleized even over a DBP. So as much as I love DBP things, the marbleized head I prefer more than that. Because the marbleized head, when you see them, they're all so different. And some of them, the whole head's marbleized, some of them's just a partial area, which is weird, but
yeah, this is my marbleized one we opened
yes.
in the previous unboxing video. I think this one's super cool. This has got to be one of my favorite like PEZ Pals that I have, just because of the marbling.
Well, that and it was such a deal.
Yeah.
You know.
It just looks so different. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I like it.
So when I open one of these, and again, every time you open any of these boxes, you have lowered the value of this. So when it was sealed, it has an X, let's say $150 value. When you open it and take the dispenser out, and it's a plain one, now you've got like a $30 box, some candy, maybe $5 or $10. And then your dispenser is, if it's not marbleized, I don't know, $50. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
And then if it's missing the mustache, well, that's a big hurt, or the badge, or the whole helmet, you know, and those things all can happen. Or it's damaged, you know. That's what we found that on the previous video. If you didn't see that video, that's definitely one to watch, just to see the stem and everything else.
I'm surprised that one was missing the mustache.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess it's easy for the people just to pop them in the box, and it might have popped off on the way in or something.
And again, the factory workers, maybe back then, I don't know. But definitely in Hong Kong, it's everything there seems to be cheaper made.
Oh, yeah.
And we see when they're doing the dispensers.
Yeah.
Although now, looking at them, we want that stem because the stem can be marbleized more and it's real flimsy. So if you even push it hard, you'll fracture it and stuff. Therefore, when it's in the package like this, well, then sometimes the candy's pressed against it and then the box, you're squeezing it or it's hitting other boxes or whatever and it cracks it. So,
yeah. Or even just the weight of the candy over
the weight of the candy, yes.
20
So far, though, mine have all
more.
had 2 packs of candy, but now this is the second one I've ever opened that didn't have a mustache. And then the badge today, the badge was there, it was just in the box. So that's nice.
Oh, that's really cool. I love having all these lined up here.
Yeah, it makes for a display nicer. And if you're into PEZ Pals, you'll know real quickly that you'll have one of everything, and then later on you'll find a slight variation, and you'll want to go from that to get more and more and more.
Different doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that you're special. You're one of a kind. One of a kind. One of a kind.
And then on all of these, there tends to be one with an orange face that you're going to pay more for. Or a green sleeve, you're going to pay more for that also.
Can you find that green sleeve in any of the PEZ Pals, or just like basically?
I'm going to say you could, but that's a guess. I don't know.
But you know for sure it comes.
Yes.
On the
I know it
Fireman?
comes on the Maharaja because I was at a convention last year and someone sold it in their room for regular price. I didn't get it. Someone else did. It was either Maharaja or Chic, because whatever it was under $100. So,
What a find though for that person.
right. The other
Did they know when they bought it, or did they
well,
buy
yeah,
it and
the
then
person
go,
that bought it came to me, hey, Chad, look what I got. And they were very excited. And I'm like, oh, you. And but he said he told the guy, he was trying to tell the person, and the guy goes, that's what I want for it.
Really?
So, okay, and so he paid it for it.
Well, then he can't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just selling off his collection, or just selling off stuff and just happy someone else buys his PEZ.
Right. And I knew the person he bought it from too, and I didn't want to say anything because you don't want to ruin their day.
Yeah.
You know, that's sad, but it happens. And again, that's another thing. So if you have something you're not sure about the price, and I'm not saying a lot of items. Let's say you came to a convention, you bought all these vintage, but you have, let's say you had the DBP stem, and the book doesn't really tell you a difference. I would go to someone I trusted and say, I've got this DBP stem, how much more valuable is it than the others? And they're going to give you a ballpark figure. Or they'll say, I don't know today, I'm busy. Okay, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But at least you don't just price it the same and find out later, oh my God, that made a huge difference. One that really makes a difference on is because you can't switch it from one to the other, and that's the witch. So it's a one-piece witch, but on the side, the stem has the witch on one side of the stem, and not the stencil one, the raised.
Okay.
The other side actually says DBP.
Okay.
That one is enormously more valuable, and the chances of ever finding one, I think, are hard to find. But that's something to look out for.
The DBP stems are just kind of fun to look for anyway.
They are.
I think you sold us a blue. I don't have many, but
now,
once I start looking,
the blue is the easiest one
easiest
to get
one?
of the DBP.
Yeah.
But yes, and so that's what first got me looking for them, because I was able to find that.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of them, so then I thought, well, I'll see if people will trade me a DBP something else for one of these. And come to find out, the DBP on other things is much harder to find.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I've shown quite a few of them here on the channel. Like if you go back and look at some of my videos where I show like a larger amount of like the vintage PEZ, not just like maybe the unboxing ones, but like I don't know, like the variation videos. I know I've had to put on the screen like what a DBP is,
Right.
because it's just made in Germany.
Right. Now, also when we were talking about these, we talked about two of these that were USA stems, which I had one yellow and one red. Well, also they say USA, but there's also Canadian PEZ that were made in the USA. They tend to have a white face. They are way more valuable.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if they made a white face one of the firemen. They definitely did the nurse and doctor. Nurse being way more valuable than the doctor. I don't know why, but that's the way it is.
The doctor sitting over there.
Yeah, okay. I have a doctor at home too.
Is that yellow stem on there?
I think they can easily see the difference.
Yeah, the doctor's
And then
face is a lot lighter.
I'll grab a USA. Here is USA, from the USA. This is USA but Canada. So the color is hugely different.
It's just another fun variation you can look for. But I think if you're starting collecting, definitely go look for like the Hong Kong, Austria ones.
Yes.
And save up your money and buy yourself the white-faced one.
Right. Also know that if you find a fireman and it's missing the mustache, well, there's a lot of reproduction mustaches out there, badges and helmets. So be careful about, I don't want any reproduction parts on any of mine. Way back in the early days, they were resin, so they're very heavy. I bought a few of those just to take to a convention to educate people, watch out for these things. But now they're not. They're made out of styrene plastic, just like these. The formula is slightly different. There are some variations that you can tell, but I can't go into that because then everybody will know. But I will say that the mustache, there's actually 3 legitimate different mustaches for any of the firemen. And it has to do with the tips. Some of them are more rounded, some are more pointed up, and I know Jeff has that detailed in his book, and then other people will tell you that too. I don't know that off the top of my head, one from the other, but now the only time I'm looking for a fireman if it's a really wild different. So I'm always looking for the marbleized. I'm always looking for any stem that's marbleized or got something else going on with it. Or what they call a short shot, which I don't have of any of these. That means the helmet, when they made it, part of the helmet's missing, and you could tell it's from the factory like that. I would like things like that. They're out there, but you don't find them very often.
Yeah, John likes to collect errors or misprints or mismolds or
Correct. Yeah.
stuff that's different.
Right.
It's kind of fun because you have all these, but you want something extra, I think, to look for.
Right. And then when my friends come over that are not PEZ people, they look at this and say, why do you have a bunch of red and yellow firemen? Wasn't one of each enough? And then when I tell them to look at the stem and see the country of, USA or Austria, they're like, who cares? Well, I do. And so do other PEZ collectors.
Yeah.
Same thing with if I show them a pony and it's the orangest common one, and then I show them a pink pony, they're like, I don't even like the pink one. I'm like, well, the pink one's quite a bit more money than the other one, and they're shocked. And these are the same people that used to make fun of me about PEZ until they came to a convention. And when they saw people buying all this, then they had a little bit of respect. Not a lot, but a little bit of respect. I mean, I also collect pinball machines, so there's that. So, but either way, they were surprised about the value of PEZ. They had no idea.
If you're not into, I think any collectible, like if you're not into it, you're not going to know the value or the rarity or if it's super common. So just if you don't have PEZ friends that don't appreciate it and they just learn a little bit about it, they probably appreciate it just a little bit more.
Yep. And there's a lot of people that'll pick a certain dispenser and really get involved in it. I did it one time, Fader Bunnies, and Peter PEZ, and a couple others. I always liked the monsters, so I always liked Erie Specters and Universal Monsters and Fishman, which really looks like Creature, but it's not, and things like that. But again, my taste changed too over the years. One time I was all about the marbleized Indians. I had 40 of those. But again, your taste changes, and you may want to sell that to buy something else you want in the PEZ world. Yeah. It's always easier to buy other PEZ when you sell one you're not so thrilled about anymore, then you really don't have any out-of-pocket money going. It's stuff from your own collection that you sold to get something else. In the earliest days of doing this, Mary Ann Kennedy would tell me she would go to, it was a glass candy container convention, and they would bring a little lunch bag of PEZ, and her and another person, they would hand each other the bags and just not even open them. These are doubles, those are doubles, and they go home and see what they got. But Mary Ann Kennedy always knew more of that than anybody, and I think she really helped grow the hobby. Yeah. Even when David did his first book and nobody knew, David Welch did his first book, nobody knew much about PEZ, Mary Ann Kennedy did. So that was the person I would write. Back then there wasn't the internet and stuff. We would write letters because if you called, that was long distance. Oh, wow. You had to pay. Oh. So all that was going on. But that shows you how back this hobby goes.
So do you have those letters still?
I do.
Wow. Yes. It's got a lot of PEZ history probably.
It does. The bad news is she liked to write some of the letters in green ink and stuff, and they went.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
But
probably...
some are blue, so I still have those. I brought those to one convention, and we talked about.
Did you?
Mary Ann Kennedy and stuff.
Yeah. So who is Mary Ann Kennedy? Because you always talk about her.
Mary Ann Kennedy is like the mother of all collectors. I feel if it wasn't for her, I would probably not even be in the hobby. What made me get in the hobby was I was always wanting a Green Hornet PEZ dispenser, and David Welch had one in an auction. He knew I collected Green Hornet, and he got in touch with me and told me what time it ended and whatnot. And I put a blanket bid of $100, and I said, if it gets close to that, give me a call close to midnight, and so I know if I want to bid. And he called me, and it was at $200 some. I said, okay, I'm not bidding on it. But the next day I had a shoebox full of PEZ, And I found out from somebody else who did bid on that auction what stuff went for. I already had $1,000 worth of PEZ in a little shoebox. And the sad thing is, these were dispensers. I had double-sided tape on top of pinball machines. I'd just stick them all on top, and if you shook my machine hard and it fell off, I was, okay, you're not playing my machine anymore. Thinking that the most expensive thing was $5. I was wrong. So I took everything off the top of the pinballs and started displaying them, and then that kind of got me hooked. And then I found out about Marianne Kennedy, and we went from there. So when I went to my first convention, I got to know her really well, and it sounded like there wasn't going to be a second one. And David Welch and her talked me into running one too.
Oh, so how you got into it? So what was your first PEZ convention that you went to?
It was in Ohio, and it was actually at the Harley Hotel. It was such an old hotel, there was no elevator. It had stairs, stairway. So the picture of the whole convention goers was all on the stairs. They took a still shot.
Wow.
It was a very small convention. So when they called you, came to the convention, you got in this one room, he would call your name, you would come up, and your convention packet was a badge you wrote your name on, tell him what size shirt, he'd grab a shirt, okay, you're registered, that was it.
Wow.
So things have changed a lot since then.
Is that still the
That
Cleveland?
was, yes.
So
yes.
it kept going?
Yes. So in that
so
year...
like 32, I think they said 32s this year?
32 or 3.
3?
Up,
maybe 3, yeah.
But back then, the guy it was...
This year, 32. So
yeah.
31 years ago?
Okay.
That's when you went to your first convention? Does that sound right?
It could be.
Or unless they skipped years in between, you don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
It was like
because one was
consecutive?
missed. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and then pandemic and stuff.
Right, there was that.
So a long time ago.
It was a long time
30-something
ago, yes.
years ago.
Yeah. And so in those first conventions, you could find like a chick with no feet, chick with hat, and with no feet, or Santas. They were 50 cents, and people didn't even buy them, including me.
Wow.
We did the first year. Now later on, we started finding out there was a lot of other variations of things. So again, all of us didn't know much. In the earliest sheets from David Welch, when you'd be on his mailing list, you could look through that sheet and he'd have ultra rare things, but nobody knew they were that rare. Than, let's say, like a purple pony for $100 or something. But again, nobody knew anything. And back in those days, when David did his first auction, this is before there was books or anything, the most expensive thing ever to sell at that time, Marianne Kennedy bought, it was for $333. It was a baseball bat, home plate, glove in the box. The box had been opened.
In the box.
And Paul, Marianne Kennedy's husband, wasn't happy about that until he was at a convention and saw everybody. Then he realized that was a heck of a deal. And all of us, were in awe of that item.
That's so cool.
And then a little bit after that, David he'd mail out stuff, and he tried to make it so everybody got them the same day, and you would call him and say, I want to buy whatever. So that time he had the Make-A-Face loose for $500, and I bought it, and people that I didn't know called me up and said, I ruined the hobby for them. And I would say, who is this? And they'd say, do I know you? No. So then I'd hang up.
Wow.
But later on, and then I felt kind of guilty spending $500 on some plastic, but the first time I brought it to a convention, there was 2 people trying to buy it from me. They knew I paid $500. The one guy offered me $1,000, then $1,500, then he was saying maybe $2,000, and I asked my wife, do you want me to sell? And she goes, that's up to you. I said, well, if I sell it, I don't know if I'll ever get it again with all the parts.
Yeah.
So I almost sold it, but I didn't. I'm glad I did.
You still have it?
I still have it. Now, when I bought that, I got all the parts plus half of a card.
Wow.
So the actual display card was just half of it, but that was included in that. And those actually were, the card says, I think, 1973. And we thought that all of them were returned for choking hazard reasons, but supposedly where it went to the vendors, they didn't like that the cards were stapled on there and a lot of the pieces fell out. And so that was a mess for them. So they shipped them back to PEZ. And the story goes that PEZ took all that plastic, and that's how you got the marbleized headdresses for the Indian chiefs. I can't confirm that or not, but that's the story you hear. So that made me interested in the Indian chiefs after that, and that's what blew that collection up for me.
So is that why there's hardly any make-a-face? I mean, besides the parts missing probably over the years, but is that why there's... Because they, like, actually, the vendors would send them back. They didn't actually sell them?
All that, and it was a flop. So it wasn't successful out there. Just like if you look at Mary Poppins, you could understand why that would be a flop. Supposedly, the psychedelic eye, even though we all like it, at the time it wasn't successful. And not because of the dispenser. The candy was flower flavored and smelled like cheap perfume, and kids would eat that and get sick.
They would get sick?
Well, that's the story I hear.
It's like, I laugh because it's like when we do the unboxings and then you get the box and it smells like dryer
Cigarette
sheets
smoke,
or, you get all these weird smells and it's like, it's just like, I can't imagine eating the flower candy.
Right, I can't either. Well, my favorite flavor all through the years has been just wild cherry. And then when Scott McGuiney was president, he didn't like that. He pulled that from their lineup because he felt that was like cough syrup and didn't want to.
Like the Ludens or...
I don't know what the deal was, but it's back now. And now there's just so many flavors out there. And some of them I really like. Again, I shouldn't be eating any of them because of the sugar and I'm diabetic, but I'll try, whatever they are, I'll try at least one little square. Just to find out. Some of them are delicious. Some of them are horrifying. That one with the L.
Oh, the light, is it lychee or lychee?
Whatever that one was.
Whatever.
That one was tough.
That one tastes kind of florally.
Yeah,
even Greg tried that and he was like, this is gross.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty popular, like, flavor.
Not in the U.S.
Like, in like Asia or whatever. Yeah. They have a lot of, like, lychee candies and scents and everything like that. So maybe the PEZ doesn't represent the way it's supposed to taste.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously marketing, just like in the old days with baseball cards and sports cards and TV show ones, all of those was to sell the gum. Yeah. But as time went on, they don't have gum with them anymore because the card that was against the gum would be ruined usually. Yeah. And now it's all about the cards. So. But still, you get PEZ and it has candy. Now, some of the candy in Mexico, some of the dispensers do not have candy anymore, which is really weird.
Yeah, I don't think they can't.
Something to do with the amount of sugar or something.
Yeah, I don't think that the Mexican, I guess, government, I don't know, they don't want to market to kids, I guess, the bad candies. Right. Like, I guess you don't want kids to eat candy.
And I'd heard rumors of that with Pop PEZ, some part of the world where they weren't going to have candy. I don't know.
Because I think that the kids will go, oh, I want the toy, and then it comes with the candy, and they probably think it's too much. I don't know.
Even me as a kid, I remember one of the dispensers, Creature from the Black Lagoon. I got that at a Walgreens in a vending machine, and I broke the head. My mom gave me the quarter. I ate the candy, broke the head. Oh, Mom, I broke it. She gave me another quarter. I wish I would have kept the broken one even, but I didn't. So, live and learn. But that's all part of the fun stuff, that the nostalgia that brings you back to happier, simpler times in the world. You went to school, there was never a shooting or anything. Maybe somebody brought a baseball bat to school, was mad at somebody, but no, nothing like now.
Nothing ever was.
Kids could hitchhike
scary.
And there wasn't.
Yeah, even when I went to
probably was
school.
stuff going on, but it wasn't like now.
Yeah.
So.
Brings you back to the childhood.
Yeah. And that's all about most collectibles. It brings you back to simpler, happier times that you remember, this window of your life, you did this and enjoyed it, and rushes you back to that time sometimes.
It's true.
Or you're in a bad mood, you go down to whatever room like this room and look at your PEZ and makes you feel happy.
That's true. So. Anything else you want to share about the Fireman PEZ?
I'm sure there is, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
So we talked about the badges. We talked about the helmet colors. We talked about the mustaches, the 3 different styles of mustaches. We talked about some of them that were called a short shot, where they didn't fill everything in. So sometimes, even on the stem, you might see a stem that looks like a little piece missing, but you look and it's all, you can tell it just didn't fill in. And that could be on any dispenser. Those are fun to find. But you're going to pay extra for that. But not a lot extra, but extra.
Yeah. Whenever there's like a weird variation, people probably will end up paying more for it anyway, just because it is.
Right. Oh, and we didn't mention any of these things. Again, we took the value down by taking it out of the box. If we would have had it in cellophane and we tore it out of the cellophane, which I've done in the past, it's enormous difference in price. Also, cellophane items, you're going to look for the pinholes. There's going to be very fragile. They don't ship well. If you're taking it to a convention, you got to be very careful getting it to the convention and let the person know buying. Usually, if someone's buying cello, they know. They got to be very careful with it because it's so fragile.
And if you don't, you want to grab one of the cellos up there, you can. You can grab those one here or whatever.
So that's a cellophane. Again, we're talking about any footless dispenser. That cellophane's a little bit more sturdy than this next one we're going to show you. This cellophane is a little bit more fragile. And again, when you're there in person, you can kind of tell the difference of fragile. And then the other thing, anything in a poly bag like this, well, they're even if they're footless, you don't have to worry at all. It can take anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to get hurt.
I really like PEZ and cellos because I know, like, no one's played with the PEZ or super minty usually. Sometimes you do find broken pieces on them or whatever, but the paint is usually on there. It's not rubbed off if it was painted correctly in the first place.
Correct. And if it's brought to the U.S., you have to realize, too, that when they came in the U.S., they came in big bins full, so they were rubbing each other all the time. And in the U.S., the person doing them, they're just sitting on the place, and they're not really looking at them at all. They probably have much better quality control now than they did back then. I'm guessing on that. I don't know for sure about quality control. I know the Europeans, a lot of times you'll find, which is fun to look for too, factory mistakes or errors. Yeah. Sometimes as bad as the dispensers in upside down, not just turned around, but totally upside down. Or missing, well, the rarest one I have is missing the whole head. So that's a European one. It's a stem that's vacuum formed onto the card with no head at all. I bought that one of the first conventions ever from John Laspina for $10, and he thought I was crazy. Why would anybody want this? Doesn't think I'm crazy anymore. Well, he didn't say I was crazy.
Yeah.
Other people were just saying, well,
yeah.
You paid $10 for that?
It seems like the longer you collect, the more like unique things you might end up finding, but it's like one unique thing that you'll ever find just like that. Like no one else might not have one like that.
Yes.
So it's like, what's it worth to you, or other people who might like those errors.
And then back again with Mary Ann Kennedy, way back in the day, she had a line on getting. It's a little camera. It's white and black, and it says PEZ on top. And there's only one. It's like a viewfinder camera. It's very small. There's other versions of it that I probably were in vending machines for a quarter. But when you flip it through, there is one picture in there that's PEZ. I don't know if it's hockey or what, but something PEZ on that one picture. And I think she paid $500 for it at the time. And that was the same time when I had an opportunity to get a PEZ jump rope. And the jump rope basically just has a little strip of paper in there that says PEZ Inc. or whatever. And that was $500.
That's a cool story.
So, yeah. You got me in a yucky mood today.
I like hearing the PEZ stories, so it's always fun. I've been collecting for like a little over 25 years now, but like I was pretty young back then, and then I was on like the PEZ forums or whatever, but like nothing like you were older, I think, so that helps. You'd probably talk to more people or go places and stuff like that it's pretty neat.
There would be times my wife didn't like this. This again before there was the internet stuff. I'd get a phone call from a fellow PEZ collector, and my wife, it's a PEZ emergency, we have to sit down and wait, because we were all going out to eat. And someone would find something, they'd ask me, because we didn't have books yet on the parts, and they'd ask me, is this complete? And I would tell them yes or no. But one of the people, they had found it was just an Indian chief, but the headdress was all white, and they wanted to know if that was right. Wow. And I said yes, So, well, the ones he's ever seen had the black tips. Well, they did come both ways, and but that was something that I had to stop, spend some time, My wife's Marion and said, let's go, and we did. We
Yeah.
did another 10-minute stuff.
The internet really helps with like
That changed
collectibles of
everything,
anything, I
yes.
think.
Yes.
Opens up the whole world to everybody.
That changed the value of things too, especially in the PEZ world. Some things that we thought were rare weren't, and then later. The biggest surprise to me, I guess, would have been of PEZ Pals. It would have been the Mexican boy. So the Mexican has the 2 earrings and the goatee and stuff. It was always hard to find even both earrings being there. And at one time, that was like $300 or $275. That actually went down in value over time because there was a lot more of those than we ever realized. It's still collectible, as all of these are. Still definitely more expensive than the fireman or policeman, but it's way more plentiful than I ever thought. And then you find out that there's different kinds of earrings. Some are translucent, some are solid. Sometimes they're missing parts. Oh, another nice story was Marianne Kennedy she was the only person that ever had let's see, I think it was a fireman with a white mustache, but it was mint in the package.
Oh, wow.
And I might have that story wrong. That or she had the doctor with a black mustache, but I think it was the other way around. I can't remember, but it was in cello, so that settled that.
Yeah, I don't know. Because they both come, I don't
With
know.
a mustache, but the color.
Yeah. Just trying to think of what, I wonder who owns that now.
And there's people that just specialize in cello, things that are in the cello or in the poly bags or on cards. And if you like the cards, you better have a big house for all the card stuff. Or there are some people that actually take the cards off and collect the cards in stacks.
Oh, yeah.
I've not done that because I don't have good luck taking the card off. I take some of the paper with it.
Yeah, yeah.
The blister
It's
off
definitely
the card.
hard.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I always liked the packaging, and I would have way more if I like wanted to store it, but it's hard to display the packaged stuff.
Definitely.
And I like to display everything, so that's why I usually just open it or get stuff that's open.
Right.
But I do like the cellos are some of my favorites because I think they just look so cool. I don't know. If it's a PEZ I really like and it comes in a cello, I'll try to find one.
And of course, the cello is harder and harder as years go by. They're brittle, so if they're not properly maintained, you have a good chance of having more problems with them.
That's for sure.
But highly collectible.
Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody learned something about, PEZ history today and the Fireman PEZ Pals, and it's super fun unboxing. You could just bring these over like every week, John, and unbox.
Let Erin know if you'd rather we just concentrate on, when I'm here, concentrate on the dispenser at hand, or if you want me to go off on these tangents where we're talking about conventions and other stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to do that if you don't want to hear that. Because sometimes people want just the content of, they hear, oh, it's all about a fireman, that's all they want to know about.
Yeah. I like it all, so. Anything else you want to share?
That's it.
That's it?
For me.
I think that's it.
As always, thanks for having me over.
Yeah. I guess if you made it this far into the video and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Give it extra thumbs up.
If you didn't, well,
Don't give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, right. Don't do that.
Just skip over the video. I guess as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. You have to hit it, but don't knock over the PEZ. There you go.
Bye-bye.
I write to you in poetry with words left on the shelf. Full of dust, you'll know it's me and from nobody.